Welcome back to the channel Valuable Coins. Today we're taking a quick look at the 1966 Roosevelt dime without a mint mark, a coin born during the unique coin shortage era of the mid-1960s. Because mint marks were temporarily removed from 1965 to 1967, every 1966 dime appears without one, making it an interesting piece of U.S. mint history. While most are common in value, high-grade examples and rare errors can still excite collectors. Let's explore what makes this dime special. Top 5. First up, the 1966 Roosevelt dime without a mint mark is a common but historically interesting coin from the United States Mint. To understand why this coin usually has no mint mark, it is important to look at the special circumstances of the mid-1960s. During this period, the U.S. was experiencing a serious coin shortage. People were hoarding silver coins and circulation was being disrupted across the country. In response, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965, which removed silver from dimes and quarters and temporarily eliminated mint marks from coins struck between 1965 and 1967. Because of this policy, all Roosevelt dimes dated 1966 were intentionally produced without mint marks, regardless of whether they were made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The Roosevelt dime series itself began in 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The coin was designed by chief engraver John R. Sinek, whose initials JS appear on the obverse near Roosevelt's neck. Roosevelt was honored on the dime largely because of his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, and his strong association with the March of Dimes campaign against polio. By 1966, the dime had already transitioned from the earlier 90% silver composition, used from 1946-1964, to the new copper-nickel clad composition introduced in 1965. Therefore, the 1966 dime contains no silver and is made of a copper core with nickel outer layers. In terms of mintage, the 1966 Roosevelt dime was produced in extremely large numbers, over 2.2 billion pieces, making it very common in circulation today. Because mint marks were removed during this period, collectors cannot distinguish which mint facility struck a particular coin. As a result, most 1966 dimes without mint marks carry only face value 10 cents when found in circulated condition. Even in uncirculated mint state grades, they typically sell for only a small premium, usually between $1 and $5 depending on condition and eye appeal. However, there are a few exceptions that can make a 1966 dime more valuable. Coins in very high mint state grades, MS67 or higher, pieces with full torch bands, full bands or FB designation, or those showing significant mint errors such as off-center strikes, doubled dies, or wrong planchets, can command much higher prices among collectors. Proof dimes from 1966 also exist, but they were specially made in San Francisco and sold in special mint sets SMS, not released into normal circulation. In summary, the 1966 Roosevelt dime without a mint mark reflects a unique moment in U.S. coinage history when mint marks were deliberately removed to discourage hoarding during a national coin shortage. While most examples are common and worth only face value, high-grade specimens and notable errors can still attract collector interest. For most collectors, the coin's real value lies more in its historical context than in its market price. Next up, the 1983 D Roosevelt dime is a fascinating modern U.S. coin that carries both historical and collector interest. Minted in Denver and bearing the small d mint mark, this dime was produced during a challenging economic period for the United States Mint. The Roosevelt dime series itself began in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, largely because of his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his association with the March of Dimes campaign against polio. By 1983, the design remained largely unchanged, still featuring Roosevelt's left-facing portrait on the obverse and the traditional torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. The year 1983 is especially notable in the Roosevelt dime series because the U.S. Mint did not produce official mint sets in either 1982 or 1983. This decision, made as a cost-saving measure during a period of budget tightening, unintentionally created a shortage of high-quality uncirculated coins for collectors. As a result, many 1983 D dimes entered circulation directly through banks and commerce rather than being preserved in government sets. Because of this, finding well-preserved mint state examples today can be more difficult than for many surrounding years, giving the coin added numismatic appeal. From a technical standpoint, the 1983 D dime is composed of a copper-nickel clad composition, 75% copper and 25% nickel over a pure copper core. weighs 2.27 grams and measures 17.9 in diameter. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of these coins, so circulated examples remain very common and typically carry only face value. However, coins in high mint state grades, especially MS66 and above, or those with strong full bands FB detail on the torch, can command significantly higher prices in the collector market. Today, the 1983 D Roosevelt dime serves as a reminder of a transitional moment in modern U.S. coin production. While it may appear ordinary at first glance, its connection to the no-mint set years and the challenge of locating pristine specimens keeps it firmly on the radar of Roosevelt dime collectors. For beginners, it is an accessible coin to collect, and for advanced numismatists, high-grade full bands examples remain a rewarding and sometimes elusive pursuit. Next up, the 1984 P Roosevelt dime is a small but meaningful piece of modern American coinage that reflects both the legacy of President Franklin D. Roosevelt and the steady production of the United States Mint during the 1980s. The P mint mark indicates that this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which began placing mint marks on dimes again starting in 1980 after many years without them. By 1984, the Roosevelt dime had already been in circulation for nearly 4 decades, having first been introduced in 1946 to honor Roosevelt's leadership and his association with the March of Dimes campaign that fought polio. The Roosevelt dime design was created by chief engraver John R. Sinek. On the obverse front, the coin features a left-facing portrait of President Roosevelt along with the inscriptions "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date 1984 with the small P mint mark positioned near the date. The reverse displays a torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch piece and an oak branch, strength and independence. This classic design remained unchanged in 1984, making the coin instantly recognizable to collectors and the general public alike. In terms of composition, the 1984 P dime is part of the clad coinage era. Unlike pre-1965 dimes that contain 90% silver, this coin is made of a copper core sandwiched between outer layers of copper nickel. It weighs 2.27 grams and has a diameter of 17.9. Because it contains no silver, its value is generally based on condition and rarity rather than metal content. The Philadelphia Mint produced a very large number of these coins, over 647 million pieces, which means most examples found in circulation today are common. However, collectors still pay attention to the 1984 P dime because high-grade uncirculated examples and coins with strong strikes can carry a premium. Coins graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services are more desirable, and pieces with full torch bands on the reverse, often called full bands or FB, are especially sought after. Additionally, any mint errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet errors, can significantly increase the coin's value. Today, the 1984 P Roosevelt dime represents a dependable and accessible entry point for modern coin collectors. While most circulated examples are worth only face value, 10 cents, pristine uncirculated coins or certified full band specimens can sell for several dollars or more in the collector market. Its historical connection to Roosevelt, combined with its place in the long-running Roosevelt dime series, ensures that the 1984 P dime remains a small but noteworthy piece of U.S. numismatic history. Next up, the 1995 P Roosevelt dime is a modern United States coin that reflects the continued legacy of President Franklin D. Roosevelt and the long-running Roosevelt dime series first introduced in 1946. The P mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most historically significant minting facilities in the United States. By 1995, Philadelphia had been producing coins for over 2 centuries, and the Roosevelt dime had already become one of the most familiar pieces of American pocket change. Although the 1995 P dime is common in circulation, it still holds importance for collectors who study mint varieties, condition rarities, and the historical continuity of U.S. coinage. The Roosevelt dime design was created by chief engraver John R. Sinek, whose portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt appears on the obverse. Roosevelt was honored on the dime because of his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his strong connection to the March of Dimes campaign that fought polio. The reverse of the coin features a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. By 1995, this classic design had remained largely unchanged for nearly 50 years, making the coin a stable and recognizable piece of U.S. currency. In terms of production, the 1995 P Roosevelt dime had a very large mintage, with over 1.1 billion coins struck at Philadelphia. This high production number means the coin is extremely common in circulated condition and usually carries only face value in everyday grades, However, collectors often seek out uncirculated examples, especially those with strong luster and sharp strike quality. Coins graded MS65 and higher by professional grading services can command modest premiums, and superb gem specimens, MS67 or better, become significantly scarcer and more desirable. The composition of the 1995 p-dime follows the modern clad standard adopted in 1965. It is made of a copper core sandwiched between layers of copper-nickel, giving the coin its silvery appearance while keeping production costs low. The coin weighs 2.27 grams and measures 17.91 millimeters in diameter, maintaining the same specifications used for decades. Unlike earlier silver dimes minted before 1965, the 1995 P version contains no precious metal, which is another reason most examples do not carry high intrinsic value. While the regular 1995 P dime is common, collectors sometimes search for error coins, such as off-center strikes, doubled dies, or coins struck on wrong planchets. These error varieties, if authenticated, can be worth significantly more than standard pieces. Additionally, coins preserved in original mint sets often show better surfaces and can appeal to condition-focused collectors. Over time, as high-grade examples become harder to find in pristine condition, the best specimens may continue to gain modest collector interest. In summary, the 1995 P Roosevelt dime is not a rare coin in typical circulated condition, but it remains an important part of modern U.S. coinage history. It represents the enduring tribute to Franklin D. Roosevelt and the efficiency of late 20th century American mint production. For everyday collectors, it serves as an accessible entry into Roosevelt dime collecting, while for advanced numismatists, the challenge lies in locating flawless, high-grade examples or unusual mint errors that elevate this common coin into something truly special. Next up, the 1996 P Roosevelt dime is a modern United States coin that holds both historical and collector interest despite being common in circulation. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the small P mint mark on the obverse front identifies its origin. The Roosevelt dime series itself began in 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, to honor his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, and his strong association with the March of Dimes campaign against polio. By 1996, the design created by chief engraver John Arsenic was still in use, making the 1996 P dime part of a long-running and recognizable American coin tradition. In terms of composition, the 1996 P dime is made of a copper-nickel-clad alloy, specifically 75% copper and 25% nickel over a pure copper core. This composition had been standard since 1965, when the U.S. Mint removed silver from circulating dimes due to rising silver prices and coin shortages. The coin weighs 2.268 grams and measures 17.91 in diameter with a reeded edge. The obverse features Roosevelt's left-facing portrait along with the inscriptions "Liberty, in God we trust," and the year 1996, while the reverse displays a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. The mintage of the 1996 P Roosevelt dime was very high, over 1.4 billion pieces, reflecting the heavy demand for small change in the mid-1990s. Because of this large production, most circulated examples carry only face value today. However, uncirculated coins in high mint state grades, MS66, MS67, or higher, can command modest premiums among collectors. Additionally, proof versions of the 1996 dime were struck at the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark for collector sets, but those are different from the regular Philadelphia issue. One special point collectors sometimes note is that the year 1996 marked the 50th anniversary of the Roosevelt dime series, 1946-1996. While the regular circulation coins did not receive a design change, the U.S. Mint issued a special 1996 W Roosevelt dime and mint sets only, struck at West Point. This makes the common 1996 P dime part of the same milestone year, even though it is not the key collectible from that anniversary. Today, the 1996 P Roosevelt dime remains widely available in circulation and coin rolls, making it an accessible piece for beginners building a Dayton mint collection. While it is not rare, high-grade specimens, full-band examples with sharply defined bands on the torch, and error coins, such as off-center strikes or doubled dies, can attract additional collector interest. As part of the enduring Roosevelt dime series, the 1996 P coin continues to represent a modern chapter in U.S. coinage history.